and on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt. Hope you're having yourselves a tremendous morning this morning, and Wake Up Call is happy to be here with you every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time, where sports truly meets life, and we're inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. So once again, listening on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt, as well as on wakeupcalldt.com, and watching and listening on facebook.com/livenowdt and on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. So, however you're connected with the show this morning, we thank you so much. Inside of these Cafe Kubal studios, we ask yourself to heat up your cup this morning with local and make sure you support CNY and head out to Cafe Kubal to any one of their locations on 3501 James Street, 324 West Water Street, 208 North Townsend Street, as well as 401 South Salina Street in Syracuse, and their newest location out on 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, New York, where all of the roads converge in Manlius. That pinnacle of a building, the brown striped building that looks like coffee actually being poured, is right there for you, the new location of Cafe Kubal in Manlius. So, with all of that, I hope you had a fantastic weekend this weekend. The weather was absolutely beautiful. Sun was shining. A lot of people mowing their lawns. In Massachusetts, there was 7 inches of snow, so I don't want to hear anybody complaining here in central New York. I hope you're having a great day and you started it off right. MonPazPopcorn.com is what's poppin', brings you the list of topics for the day. I have 2 fantastic guests who will be joining me today. Robert Drummond, very good friend of mine, one of my closest and nearest and dearest friends, and someone I consider a brother, here with me this morning to talk about something that him and I have been talking about for as long as we've known each other, pretty much, which is the need for Syracuse to reach out to their football alumni in a positive, uplifting, and progressive way, and for them to start recruiting local, which leads us into our conversation in hour number 2 with Syair Torrence, the younger brother of Symir Torrence, who just decided to come to Syracuse and transfer from Marquette to play basketball with 3 seasons ago. Syair Torrence is a 2024 wide receiver / athlete, and he has an opportunity now from Syracuse by getting his first collegiate offer from the Orange. So not only is Syracuse, it's atypical that they recruit locally, but very atypical that even if they do, that they're the first offer, and they were able to get out to Syair Torrence, and we'll talk with him about that offer, about growing up here in the area, about growing up on the south side and maybe some misconceptions of that, of all the adversity he's gone through with his father finally returning home, his mother and everything she's done, his brother and him both getting offers from Syracuse, and so much more in a multi-layered story that you will not want to miss here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. So, plenty of great stuff coming up with 2 awesome guests, Rob Drummond and Syair Torrence, as we start off this week with a conversation that Rob and I have had forever. Let's bring him in. Mr. Drummond, how are we doing today?
How's it going, Dan?
So
when you introduce me, I'm like, I talk to you all the time.
Yeah, so, hey Rob, how's everything been? I don't know, since yesterday, pretty good. So, I gotta ask you. I mean, we're a couple months into 2021, so before we get into some of the other things we're going to talk about, how have you been spending this year, and what did last year teach you?
As someone who's played professional football for 15 years, having to tough something out and having to fight through something that may be difficult, is nothing to me. But this past year, it's been interesting to me because it's given me a chance to sit back and reflect and just look at how other people react towards adverse situations. And some people just are not very, very good in adverse situations because, once things get tough, they panic and they freak out. And I don't want to wear a mask. I don't want to get a shot. I don't want to, just some of the things they do, and it just lets me know that everyone is human.
Yeah.
We just all need to take a deep breath. We're going to be okay. Everything will be all right. Everything will get back to, I don't consider things to be normal, but everything will get back to maybe not completely the way it was. We'll get back to some semblance of just normalcy is a word I use. And I've just had a chance to just go out there and do what I always do. I meditate. I reflect on myself. I try and make myself get better, heal. Try and help other people. Keep training athletes and go out there and just be the best person I possibly can be every day. Because that's what I do every single day I wake up. I just always try and be the best person I can possibly be every day because that's what God wants.
And you talk about that and having that faith and that positivity. You've been through plenty of adversity yourself, and people come to the show this morning, and I know that's an understatement for you. So to have the loss of your father in general, especially not at the hands of God, and especially at a young age, to go through all of that, and the adversity of football, the adversity of being disrespected, the adversity of being of the color of your skin being something that people judge. I mean, there's been the thing that people don't understand, and I say it on the show a lot. I know you and I talk about it, but you really have no idea what someone's going through, and the reality of what you had to go through with your dad passing away, what you had to go through with normal adversity of people disrespecting you, and people maybe playing this down or telling you can't or whatever it may be, to being on the football field and taking all those hits and knowing that this is a human body. And obviously those things are challenges that a lot of people don't have to face being on a football field because they're usually watching, not playing. And then on top of all of that, being a black man in society, knowing everything that comes with that in an unfortunate, I don't even know what to call it, that this world has become. So how do you navigate through all of that and continue to be the amazing person that I know that you are?
You know what, Dan, honestly, I take it with a grain of salt. And by that, I mean, it's like, every morning I wake up, I feel blessed. I'm fortunate enough to be able to wake up and be given another day of life, because it's never promised. It's been 23 years now since my father's murder, and since that time, I've learned that enjoy each day, enjoy each person that makes you smile, because nothing's never given. It's never promised. It's been 23 years now since my father's murder, and since that time away. So I try and enjoy the people that that make me smile, and that want to be around me. If someone doesn't want to be around me, that's fine. I try not to let things upset me, because it's not worth it. Being angry, being mean, being disrespectful, being all the bad things that people look at is just not. It's not who I am, and that's not what I want to be a part of my life. I'm no holy roller. I'm not religious at all. I'm very spiritual, but I just put myself in a place where I can make myself happy. I tell my girlfriend that all the time. It's like, I love you because I just want to see you happy. If I don't make you happy, then go be with somebody that makes you happy, because that's all I care about. So that's how I put myself in a position to be, the person that I am today, where it's like, I don't get caught up in drama and all this stuff that, the ill will that bring people down. Will I speak my voice and speak my piece on it? Yes, of course I will. Do I have an opinion of Derek Chauvin, and Dante and all the people out there and things that are going on in this world? Of course I do. But I don't let it drag me down into the depths of being a dark person and living a life that, I can say 23 years ago, 22 years ago, 21 years ago, that almost brought me, to committing suicide and just not wanting to be a part of it because it hurt so much. So I tend to live a life where I just go out there and I try and stay positive and try and do positive things.
Speaking here with Rob Drummond, Syracuse NFL and CFL alum, and one of my closest friends. And, Rob, I've always been me on the show. I'm no different than seeing me in person. That's just something that I pride myself on, is that if you're yourself all the time, you don't have to remember what you said.
No, you do not.
So you just were very honest about the reality that you thought about, leaving this earth at your own hands. I've talked on the show before about, feeling that way myself. How did you get through it? How did you navigate past it? And what would be your advice to somebody listening this morning that feels like life is just too hard?
You know what, Dan? And honestly, feeling that way is not a bad thing. It doesn't make you a bad person. Again, I use this cliche all the time. It makes you human. For me, I was suffering through depression, through anxiety, through all the emotional distress of, having someone that I cared about more than life itself murdered, So, and that hurt more than people could ever imagine, and it's just that it took me so much to pull myself out of it. Then I got to the point where I have to realize is that, what, as someone who's like, who they consider, a legend in the city, or someone who did so much at Syracuse University, in the NFL, in the Canadian Football League, that I have younger people as a trainer now that look up to me, that look up to me for my strength, look up to me for my, reservation, look up to me. Even my children, I'm their hero. I'm a legend in the city, or someone who did so much at Syracuse University, in the NFL, in the Canadian Football League. Out of that dark place, I have younger people as a trainer look up to me for my make a better life for me, just not for myself, but for them also. I want to inspire people to go out there and I'm their hero. You can accomplish anything on this planet, anything in life, if you just put your mind to it and believe in yourself. And one thing I always do, even going through it right now, is I just believe in myself. That's why all these children here in Syracuse, I believe in them. That's why I do so much as far as training them. And the one thing I understand about myself is, as a trainer, I'm way more than just a trainer on athleticism and athletic ability. I'm a trainer on the mental, acuity of these young kids, and make sure they're able to understand that this is what life is. It's like, just like yourself. This is about life. I try and teach them. It's like, okay, you can accomplish X, Y, and Z. But there's so much more, in accomplishments of A, B, C, D, E, the entire alphabet. I'm going to teach you the entire alphabet. So you'll have an outline to success, that I didn't have the outline. The outline had to be written for me, but I'm already giving you that outline. So it's just a thing where I honor myself and I pride myself on being able to go out there and be someone in the Syracuse community who cares. And I care.
When we talk about that, being someone in the Syracuse community who cares, and you and I have both made that a point, that it's not just about our businesses being successful, it's not just about us being successful, but it's about raising up this community. You were born and raised here, you came back. I was born and raised here, I came back. And we have both, over the years, been very clear about how we feel about the kids in this area, and reaching out to, the kids and the families and to everybody, and to really make it a point to make sure that if nobody else is showing them love, that we are. What can you say about, the incredible importance of reaching out to these children and giving them an opportunity, be it a voice on my show, be it, a phone call that you can give to a coach? What can you say about the kids in this community, and how vital it is for, people to really support them, love them, and make sure that they are not being forgotten in the mass communication and information that's out there?
As someone who's lived it, it's very important. The times are different now. But that's another subject for another day. But I just remember my first year up at Syracuse. Just being a freshman in 1985, and just being like, whoa, okay, I'm in a Division I college school. It was overwhelming. And back then, anybody could really, Coach Mack just allowed anybody to come to our practices. So I would always turn around and there'd be fans. Granted, most of my family, but just always cheering you on, always making you feel good about yourself, always making you understand, letting you know that you were just not playing for Syracuse University, you were playing for a community. So I always felt part of something bigger than myself, and I thought that was pretty cool. So where I had my good days and I had my bad days, but I could always turn around and look up in the stands and see a Syracuse native cheering for a Syracuse native. And I'd be like, wow, this is cool. So it allowed me to understand that people, that we as once you get to a point in your life where you've accomplished things, you need to give back. You need to understand that. Even that's why I try and go to so many Pop Warner games. I try and go to so many high school games. I try to do so much in the community to let these kids know that there's someone out there who's possibly, maybe they may not go on to be a Division I college athlete like I am, or play in the NFL like I am, but that doesn't matter. I just still going to show them. I'm going to show them love. And let them understand that regardless of what you do in life, we support you in this community. And that's the one thing that really burned me about the city of Syracuse University when they wouldn't recruit local athletes. It's just like, you know what? Local athletes, you give me a local athlete who you may give a 1-star. I guarantee you he comes to play for the city of Syracuse and he gets the feeling, the love, the vibe from the community in Syracuse. He'll go out there and become a 5-star athlete. He'll go out there and become majorly successful because he understands and he feels that love coming from the community. So it touched my heart actually when they offered the young man from CBA, Syair Torrence, who I haven't met. I'd love to meet him. A scholarship, because it's gonna. I was talking to Dion about that, because Dion, regardless of where Syracuse is, me and Dion are football brothers. I've known Dion way before he got the job, at Syracuse University. Back when he was in school from '92 to '96. So and we just went to a brunch yesterday. Just sat down and chopped it up and talked a little bit, and we were just talking about, and I was just trying to explain to him the vibe of the city of Syracuse, and it's like Do you understand how good this young man feels about himself right now? How much hard, Syair we're talking about, how hard he's going to go out there and work, how hard his teammates are going to work. He goes to another game, like the next 3 years, he goes to other games to play at other high schools, and these kids will be like, oh my gosh, Syracuse is here to watch Syair. Maybe I can get noticed. You know the vibe and the buzz that creates in a city? It'll be amazing. But the sad thing, I'm glad Coach Favors is finally, gotten to that point, but it shouldn't have taken this long. But I'm the type of person that, and I always say, it's like, I can forgive anybody that can admit they were wrong. I truly can. And I can't sit here and be bitter and be angry and be upset about him for not doing that for so many years. And it wasn't just him. It was Coach Shaper. It was Coach Marone. It was definitely Coach Robinson. So it's been a conglomerate of things that led up to it. But right now we're at a breaking point where we need to break through that cycle and let our young athletes understand and know that, we love them. We have their support, and we're going to put you in the best position to just be successful in life.
And Rob, bringing up, obviously all true statements, the fact that this community has lost it. Well, I shouldn't say this community, the university has lost its touch with the community.
This community does not support them at all. I'm in this community, and everyone I talk to, that's thousands of people a day. And I said something to Dion the other day, and he just took back for a minute. I told him, it's like, honestly, I could go in the community of Syracuse and ask, football fans, name me 5 players on the Syracuse University football team, and they would not know the name of 5 players, Dan. Pretty sad, huh?
Well, yeah, and the reality of that is we talk about, and people say, okay, well, you get local talent, but is it local talent that's good enough? I'm like, I don't know. Tell me about Mackie McPherson. I don't know. Tell me about Riley Dixon. I don't know. Speak about Greg Paulus and what he did when when he came back to Syracuse for a season. Talk to me about Rob Drummond and Scott Schwades and Tim Green. I mean,
Chris Gedney and Chris Ingram and Will Allen, and we can go
right.
on and on.
Right. And then tell me about the guys that weren't here, and tell me if there's local talent in Syracuse with Latavius Murray or Stevie Scott or Dorsey Levens or guys, guys of that caliber and whatnot. I mean, the reality of it all, Mike Washington Jr., who's going to Buffalo, and is already up there, decided to head there early. So there's so much to be said about when people say to me, okay, Dan, well, you want to recruit locally, but what if the talent's not good enough for Division I-A? And my response to that is, well, Pittsburgh thought it was good enough. Buffalo thought it was good enough. Colorado State thinks it's good enough. Mike Washington, to the tune of over a dozen offers, they all thought it was good enough. Dorsey Levens played in the Super Bowl, so I think that's good enough. Latavius Murray played with one of the greats and is still continuing to play and has been, in Minnesota and in, at the time, Oakland and New Orleans most recently on a very prolific offense with Sean Payton and the crew in a city that I love. So, yeah, I think that Syracuse has the talent because they've proven that they have the talent, whether it comes from CBA or Beeville or Nottingham or wherever it may be. The talent exists and the talent thrives. The Aquinas Institute in Rochester, Penn State recruits there. So the reality to me when somebody says to me there isn't talent good enough for Syracuse in the community, and that's why Syracuse doesn't recruit inside the community, is insane. Because if the rest of the country, including Alabama, if the rest of the nation sees the talent here and Syracuse doesn't see it in their own backyard, that's not a community problem, it's not a talent problem, that's a university problem.
Let me ask you a question. Okay? Would you rather have an athlete that's just talented and not inspired, or with average talent and super inspired?
Right. I mean, I would rather have somebody in this community that knows this community that's going to play. I put it to you like this. I think about it from my perspective. Okay, what would I do? And, and I played pickup games, never played with pads on or anything like that. But if I had the opportunity to be recruited and play, let's say that I was a great player. Let's say I did what I needed to do. My statistics showed it and I did everything I was supposed to do. But I was, not as tall as the quarterbacks out there, whatever it may be. If you put me in Syracuse, my parents know. I would be known on that team. I would be the hardest worker on that team. I would be the person that's rah-rahing on the sideline. I'd go in there at the end of the game with my helmet on. I'd go in there, if somebody got down, got injured, whatever it may be, I would do my interviews and speak my story and say my piece. if I got to play for my city,
Yes.
I don't care if I was ninth string. You know that my butt would get out there somehow. And I don't care if I got to be on special teams running around, I don't care if I'm on punt return. I don't care if I'm the long snapper. If I get to play for my hometown, it's Rob, why did you build your company here? Why did I build my company here? There's something about your roots. And if you have your kids come from here and play here that are talented enough. Stevie Scott, again, I prognosticated 3 years ago I would draft him in my fantasy draft, and I will gladly do that this year. The reality of it all is you brought it up, and you said it, and you're right because you live it, and I live it too. Fans, Syracuse, in the city of Syracuse, in central and upstate New York, they're not Syracuse fans. They're Indiana fans, they're Pittsburgh fans, they're Buffalo fans, because that's where their kids are playing. So they're becoming fans and wearing hats and t-shirts of the people that respected their children. And when their children don't feel loved and their children don't feel respected and their children are not recruited here locally, all they can think to themselves is, well, my city that I put my blood, sweat, and tears in didn't love my kid. This university, I shouldn't say my city, this university didn't love my kid. So we're not giving anything to them. We're not going to their games. We're not paying for anything. And then the kids get mad and the kids get spurned, and I talk to them. And they say, I can't wait to come back here and beat them. I can't wait to come back here and make them pay. I can't wait to come back here and show them how wrong they were. You are creating generation upon generation of hatred for the university, not the community, but the university. And these kids legitimately look me in the eye and tell me how badly they want to come back to Syracuse, go to the Dome, and remind every single coach how wrong they were. That is not the generation I want to create. I want to create a generation that grew up down the road and can't wait to play there. Not a generation who can't wait to come here and embarrass the school that they grew up wearing across their chest because that school decided they weren't good enough.
I say it all the time. If I would have went to Penn State or Tennessee or USC or Boston College or any other school, I would never became the athlete that I became at Syracuse because I was inspired every single day at Syracuse, not just from being on a Division I college football team, but as I said before, from having a community behind me. My community, like as you said, the community I was born and raised in. Every single practice, having a family member or a friend at every single practice, every single game, family members and friends at game, just walking around the community, just getting the love from them. You know what I mean? And that inspires these young athletes, Even when I go to, I go to my baby cousin's game and I show interest in him, which I want to show interest in him anyway, because it's my baby cousin, it's my blood. But, it inspires him to go out there and work hard and, and to be a better athlete. And that's all I want from all these kids, whether it be Jaron or Alex, or Syair or any one of these kids. If they ask me, if they want me there, I'll be there. If it means going to Syracuse, great. I'd love to have them there in the backyard where I can see them every day. But if Boston College is a better fit, I'm going to make that fit for them. If Temple is a better fit, I'll make that fit for them. If Villanova is a better fit, I'll make that fit for them. Wherever their heart desires, where they want to be is what I'll do for them. But I would love, my heart is in Syracuse. That's Syracuse is what created me as the athlete and the person I am. So I always have love for Syracuse.
And that's the thing, is that, you and I know beyond anything that there is talent here.
Yes.
And it's not a question of whether or not the talent's here. It's not a question of whether or not the heart is here. It's not the question of whether or not the ability to grow and learn and advance is here. And that's not to discredit anybody that's on the team, because it's not their fault, whoever Syracuse recruited. It's not their fault that they come from Ohio or Florida or Texas or wherever they may be.
Well, we have great guys from there, so, hey, you got to get those guys also.
Right. It's just the reality that any good coach will tell you. You recruit from your backyard 5 hours out. You have to take care of a 5-hour radius.
Take care of home.
Well, and you got to take care. I think about it like this: you can't tell your neighbors to mow their lawns if yours is not mowed.
No, you can't.
You can't go and take care of. You can't go to like your parents' house and wash all the dishes and mow their lawn and clean up all their leaves and then come home and leave yours dirty.
Okay.
You have to take care of home base, or else what are you doing?
All right, let me ask you a question. Another question.
Yeah.
In the past, let's just say, what was Baber's best year was 10-2, correct?
10-3 in 2018. Yeah.
Okay, 10-3. Okay, Name me a local starter on the squad from that team.
Nobody.
There was no one.
Right.
I know that for a fact. There was no one. Okay, my last 2 years at Syracuse, we went 21-2-1 or something like that.
Yeah, you went 21-2-1. Yeah, the one when you could tie in a bowl game. Yeah.
Okay, can you name me 2 local starters from the state, the Central New York area on those teams?
Yeah, I mean, there was you. There was Schwades. I mean, there's.
No, Schwades wasn't on.
Oh no, Schwades wasn't on there. There was you.
Me and Chris Ingram.
And then I mean, but then you look at some of the other
local other players that have contributed, but I'm just talking about starters.
Yeah, and so I mean, you being on there, Chris being on there, and then I mean, it just makes me think of, I don't know. I mean, it was a normalcy that once you finished up, somebody else took off. Once they, before them, there was somebody else from the area, and it just doesn't. I look back to, you guys were consistently good or effective. I mean, you look at the team in 1983 that beat Nebraska, and then you look at what you guys did at 21-2-1 over 2 seasons, and one of only 2 undefeated seasons in Syracuse history. Then I look at, some of the talent in the 90s that came through and the success that they had. The reality is there's been more success with local talent than there has been without, is what I'm trying to say.
That's the complete reality.
And the thing is, I mean, and again, yes, there's great players from Florida. Yes, there's great players from Texas and California and Canada and so on and so forth. But the reality of it all is Steve Adazio, who used to be an assistant coach here under Paul Pasqualoni, when he was at Syracuse, he loved this community. He respected this community, and he recruited locally. When he left, he kept his eye on Syracuse, in Notre Dame, in Florida, in Boston College, now at Colorado State. He at Temple. He has never lost the eye on this area because he knows what this area has. Randy Etzel, same thing. Coached here, was your running backs coach. And Randy at UConn now has looked in the area. When he was at Maryland, looked in the area. When he was at UConn before, looked in the area. Paul Pasqualoni, wherever he went, looked in the area. So the reality of it all is that Syracuse, Central, and upstate New York has this talent that people look to. And we're not saying comprise the entire roster of it, but Steve Adazio said to me, he said, Dan, this is how you build a team. And if you looked at the BC team, the majority of that team was in the Northeast. A ton of them were in Massachusetts. And then you'd see like New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Pennsylvania. But they knew what they needed to do. They knew how they needed to build that 5-hour radius. And you can't tell me that Nick Robinson out of Beeville or Tyler Rouse out of Beeville or Dorsey Levens out of the Nottingham area or Latavius Murray from the Onondaga area or Syair Torrence now or Noah Jordan Williams or Servassier Dennis or Stevie Scott or Mike Washington Jr., who's one of my guys, as well as my guy Daniel Booby Santiago. You cannot tell me that these players are not capable and are not good enough because the nation is disagreeing with Syracuse. And the thing that kills me the most is it was something I told you about, Rob, and I said I'm concerned for this. And then I had a coach on the phone with me ask me this question, and it brought that concern to reality. When he said to me, hey, we're recruiting this kid, Dan, and we really like him. And he's from Central New York, and we offered him. But Syracuse didn't. And I said, okay. And he said, so let me ask you, what's wrong with him? Is there something I'm not catching? Is there something off the field, character flaw? What am I not catching? Because if Syracuse didn't offer him, there's got to be something wrong with him. And the fact that Syracuse hits Syracuse, I mean, this is the way I look at it. They hit these players in 2 ways. That conversation hits you in 2 ways. Number one, that kid's not recruited by Syracuse, and that hurts his heart more than anything. Number two, because he's not recruited by Syracuse, other coaches around the country are concerned that if the school down the road didn't recruit him, there must be something wrong with this person. And I had to sit on the phone and tell this coach, there is absolutely nothing wrong with this kid. There's something wrong with the Hill. It's got nothing to do with him. But think about that, Rob. They could have potentially pulled an offer thinking that this kid had something wrong with him just because Syracuse didn't care enough. So Syracuse don't understand. By not recruiting these kids, you're not hurting them here. You're hurting them potentially everywhere. And their parents are realizing that too because they have to go out and work harder, because if the university isn't paying attention, the university isn't watching your film, the university isn't coming to your games, then these coaches are asking me, asking you, what's wrong with these kids, and there's nothing wrong with the kids at all.
100%. I mean, it's just like, it's a relationship. Think about it. Okay, I mean, just an analogy.
Yeah.
All right. If you don't, you're not a parent, but I'm a parent. If you don't show your child love, how do you think your child's gonna act? He's gonna lash out and act out, right?
Right.
But if you show your child love, how's that child gonna act? Like the best child in the world, right? Well,
right.
There are few bouts here and there. I mean, recruiting is the same way. If Syracuse just they don't even have to really recruit the kid, but just God forbid they actually show up to a few of these games, or send a coach to a few of these games, just to show that they show interest and they show love in the community and show up for these kids. It'll make these kids entire day, week, inspire them to go out there and work harder, be better, possibly be the kid they come to a game next time and get that scholarship offer, You got to start doing more things in the community to show that you have love for this community, instead of just sitting on the hill collecting a check and not having great winning football seasons. Because now you want us to show you love by coming to the games, but you don't want to show us love by coming into the community and just paying attention to our kids. It's got to work both ways. And I give Deion a lot of credit. That's one thing. That's one stigma we're going to try and change in this culture. It's like, I'm always going to show love to games. I've been watching games on television, and with COVID and everything going on. I mean, I try and respect people's wishes of, with the mask and staying away and everything. But I've been watching so many games on television. I'm trying to get the vibe of, what's going on in Central New York as far as all the athletes. I don't want to just understand a few teams here and there. I want to understand the whole CNY area, because I want to show love to all these kids, whether it be an Baltimore Paris Williamstown, or a Casanova, or a Phoenix, or a JD, or an FM, or Port Byron, wherever it may be. I'll go to any game, to any person, that like me. I mean, regardless of, all right, first of all, I mean, a plug for these two. My two favorite players are Jaron Buford and Alex Smith at CBA. Jaron Buford's my cousin at Bishop Ludden. But the one running back out of and I'll tell you now, the kid he's a sophomore and I was talking about talking to you about this yesterday. The kid out of Auburn, I'm taking a liking to that kid. That kid's good. He's very, very good. I don't know if he has the top end speed right now as a sophomore, but it's like he's got 2 more years, of high school left, and he can increase that. But every other chance that we had, I mean, I've seen him play 3 games, and every game I've been like, wow. With the exception of Syair, because they just came back and beat CBA this last game, I'm like, that kid's good. He stands out. So it's going to be fun to watch him the next few years. But, it's just things like that. So he's personally going to get me in a position to where I'm going to go to a few of his games. I want to meet that young man, And I think for someone like myself who's accomplished what I've accomplished, to be able to go out there and inspire that young man to go out here's a former NFL player, a former CFL player, a former Syracuse University legend, took the time to come to Auburn to watch my game and want to meet me. How inspiring do you think that is?
Yeah, and that's the reality.
Is
that that's all it takes. And the thing, and I laughed.
Again, I'm doing it, and I'm not a Syracuse coach. They should be doing it.
Well, and that's the thing too, is you go out to see him, and it's like, okay, well, a guy who went undefeated at Syracuse, in the season in 1987, okay, so he's out here, but he has no connection to the university, and and the thing that irks me is that a couple years ago, when they had the double bye, during this, I think it was the second bye week, Syracuse put out a post and said, "Hey, kids in the community, get ready, because we're going to be at your games this weekend." And I was like, "No, they're not." And the thing is, I know the coaches, and the coaches have said to me, "You would think that they could maybe just take the time to come here and see us. I don't know, half an hour, 5 minutes, shake hands, show their face, just be there."
Yeah, just show up, like watch the first, not even the first quarter, just 5 or 10 minutes of the game. We know they're busy, but just show that you have interest,
Right. But if you're busy, but you're on that jet flying all over the country, if you can go all over the country, you can go to Texas and sit there for 3 days, then you can come to a game on a Friday night and you can see these kids play. Because I can promise you that Stevie Scott's reason for not coming to Syracuse, they say, oh, it's because he didn't want to come here. That's not what he said to me.
That's not true.
That's not what he said to me at all. And I asked that question.
I know why he didn't come. He's one of my other Jaren's brothers, one of his best friends. You know exactly why he didn't come.
Yeah. And the reality, when I asked that question and I wanted an honest answer, I didn't get one. And if you can lie to my face, then that says something to me. So it's like, just say it. Servassier Dennis, just say why. Say why. You didn't recruit him. You didn't offer him. Just say it. Have the balls to say, I was wrong and I'm not going to be wrong again. Because the only thing that I can take from this is definition of insanity. You want to do the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. I don't care. I don't care what's happened, okay? It's happened. You didn't get Stevie. You didn't get Servassier. You didn't get Mike. But here's the reality of it all. You recruited Stevie, kind of, but that was Schaefer's staff, and then they got fired. So they recruited him. So you didn't do anything with Stevie, that's on you. You didn't do anything with Mike, that's on you. You didn't do anything with Servassier, that's on you. I'm happy that you're maybe hopefully changing, and Syair can be a bridge to that. But the reality of it all is, you're the reason why you lost these kids, so own it. Suck it up and deal with it and say it, because I don't care. If somebody says to me, I made a mistake and I'm going to be better, that's very different than I'm going to lie to your face and pretend like, oh, we worked really hard to get him. We just couldn't get him here. Oh, really? You couldn't get the guy here that grew up down the street, that wore orange and blue, that came to all your games, that saw all these amazing running backs that came through this, this school? The guy who didn't want to put on pads and wear the same jerseys that Floyd Little and Ernie Davis and Rob Drummond and Michael Owens and Larry Zonka and Joe Morris and Jim Brown wore. Really? He didn't want to come. He's a running back, and he didn't want to be a part of that history and that tradition. He didn't want to bring you back to a day where you're great. I mean, the reality of it all to me is, yes, they might try on a kid, and the kid may not come here. That's something that could happen, and that's totally understood, and that happens every single day. But if you don't recruit them and you don't offer them, it is your fault. It is your fault, because you're not even trying. And I can tell you from the kids that I've talked to that if Syracuse tried, if Syracuse meant what they said, then these kids, some of them would have been here, because they were recruited and then they weren't recruited. They were talked to. Mike Washington said it on the show. He said, I got a phone call from Syracuse, and I said, what'd they say? He said, we saw your film. Keep up the good work, young buck. Click. No offer. And so, it's like, to me, it's a systemic problem that's an easily fixable problem. And what is the stigma? You're losing in a city. You're 1-10 in a city where you don't recruit locally and you don't build bridges to your community. So you're putting a product on the field that people don't want to see, and then you're not recruiting the people in the community that are worth seeing. So when are you going to get better if you detach? Like, if you're losing, people don't want to come to games, and if you're not recruiting locally, they don't want to come to games. So what are you going to do to change this? Because a team that's 1-10 that had Servassier Dennis, Stevie Scott, Syair Torrence, and Mike Washington Jr. and Daniel Booby Santiago, if you had those guys and you were 1-10 and it wasn't Corona and fans could show up in the stands, I can guarantee your butt there would be more people there than not there, because this community wants to support each other. We want to build up each other, and we're going to sit there because the parents and the grandparents and the aunts and the uncles and the cousins and the girlfriends and so on and so forth, they're never going to leave the game. They're never going to leave the game because this is their family. So if you go 1-10, I would suggest maybe, just maybe, going 1-10 with a bunch of people that got the heart to get you out of the basement, as opposed to people that are going to leave Syracuse and never come home. Never come back, I should say.
I mean, it's just over the years, it's just a rash of things with Syracuse. I mean, hopefully we can fix it. Like I was talking about yesterday. Okay, Alabama's pro day was nationally televised, correct?
Per always.
Yeah. Okay. LSU's pro day was nationally televised, correct?
Yeah. Florida State.
Ohio State, Florida, all these. So the media was there, correct?
Yeah. I mean, to be completely honest with you, we have not, as media, we have gotten nothing. Like, it's almost as if there's been no spring ball at Syracuse, because we had an initial day one interview and nothing else. We have legitimately not. I didn't even know when the game was, Rob. I had no idea about anything.
Man, how can we relate to people that we don't even know?
Right.
I mean, it's just, have a pro day, have it on TV, have fans come watch, whatever it may be. Holy smokes! You want us to adapt and come to the games and support you, and how can we support you when we don't even know you? But I mean, hopefully, from talking about my brother Dion, Beavers, has found an epiphany, and he's going to try and change that and get to understand that now. And here's the thing: I'll help him in any way he needs me to help him to connect this community with that university. But he's got to want the help first. It's not about ego anymore. It's about, like I said, we're supposed to be family, right?
Yeah.
I built that dome with my hard blood, work, sweat, and tears. All my brothers have built that dome. We created a legacy. I'm a part of a team that, as you said, in over 100-year history of Syracuse University football, only 2 teams have been undefeated. I'm on one of those teams. I mean, so it's supposed to be a family, so treat us like family. Let us help you help yourself. We don't, I've had the accolades, I've had the cheers, I've had everything I've had before. I don't want anything but the chance to prove to these young men that you can be successful in life, and we're here to help you. That's all we want. And it's been going on for too long, and it's frustrating. And I think Dion can bridge the gap between Syracuse, and the community with my help. I mean, because I'm definitely going to go out there and work with him as hard as I can. But I mean, it's a good thing where he says Babers wants to meet the former players. That's a step in the right direction. And we're going to tell him, you need to do it. I mean, it's here to say, you shun the media because you're trying to hide everything. But that's the worst thing you can do at a time like this. The media can be your friends, make them your allies.
Yeah.
Your pro day, because I was looking for, all right, let's see the next stars of the future at pro day. Nothing. It's been silent. I'm like, holy smokes. But here I am watching national television. I see Ohio State's pro day. I see Alabama's pro day. I see Clemson's pro day. I see LSU's pro day. I see Florida's pro day. I see, Carson Wentz's old school, that North Dakota State, is it?
Yeah.
Their pro day was nationally televised, or at least on TV. And the media was there. So, like you told me, the media was not allowed to the pro day. I'm like, why? Holy smokes! Do you know the positive reviews you can get from allowing the media in to see the athletes and talk to them? Teams gonna look good. This guy. Oh my goodness! I just don't get it.
Well, that's the thing.
Really, really don't.
Pro day, spring game, and that's what I was referring to before. It was a spring game, but it's like. But it's funny because I had a fan write to me yesterday, and he was like, hey, how come this wasn't televised? And it made me stop and think, and I was like, oh my gosh, I forgot Syracuse was even in spring practice right now because we had an initial...
No one knows.
We had an initial press conference, and I don't even know the practice schedule, right? Like, normally we're given some type of like, hey, you're going to get this many interviews with Dino Babers. There was an initial interview, and then I haven't heard anything in, 3 or 4 weeks. And I'm sitting here thinking to myself, I'm like, should I check my email junk folder? Like, what the heck's going on here? Because we've legitimately had nothing. It's as if spring practice never happened.
100%. I agree with you completely. I mean, even as a for me, I'm trying to find out who are the players next year. We're looking for. They're going to be stars. Who's going to step up? I have no idea. I mean, my thing is, okay, what are we trying to hide? You wouldn't win a 10 last year.
Yeah.
So it's not as if, so you should be happy that we're even interested. At a 1 in 10, no one wants to see a 1 in 10 team. So it's like, so show us what we have to look forward to. If I can't see what if I can't see what I'm looking forward to, then I'm not gonna have any interest. Yeah. And this is me talking like a fan.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing is like, fans have a lot of questions, and what do? They look for it. When they can't find the information, who do they go to? The media. So if you get nothing and we get nothing and there's nothing, then it is. Because if somebody came to me right now and said, Dan, who are the best wide receivers in practice? Your guess is as good as mine. So like, and that's hindering me or anybody from doing our job. You know what I mean? Like, I used to take camp notebooks. I used to write 7 to 8 pages per practice and then put those notebooks online so that people, not the plays, not telling anybody who's injured, not giving up any information, just talking about what I saw, like basically breaking down, this is who I think is doing this is who I think is going to start. Like, I was giving people ample information that helped them to get to know the players. I talked about Darrell Eskridge way before he became a starter. I had guys on my list that people didn't have because the hype was for this guy, but I watched him in practice, and I was like, I don't think he's going to play. And then this other guy that nobody's talking about, I'm like, wow, he's really dang good. And Darrell Eskridge, I'll never forget, he really got me because nobody could stop Ashton Broiled, and then Darrell came by the sideline, and he hit him, and he brought him down, and he was the only guy to do it. And so I'm watching practice, and I'm watching the backup quarterback, and I'm watching how these guys are throwing, and I'm watching this running back come in. I could see what was coming in the future, and I shared that with everybody. And I love that because I'm a student of the game and I love to sit and learn. I would watch film with you, Rob, for like 19 hours if you wanted to. So for me, what'd you say?
I said, no, watching the film all the time. I'm good.
but you know what I mean? Well, we'll watch Marvel movies. It's fine. So, but the reality of it all is I loved when a fan could come to me and say, Dan, what do you think about our starting quarterback? And I'm like, starting quarterback? I can tell you about all 5. But now, nothing. Yeah. And, you know, and it's like, you know, so you take all the information so you can control the information, but that's the thing. You're always going to promote yourself. So if you take all the information, you control it, then I don't get to tell the stories that I want to tell. If Rex Culpepper never had cancer, then his story would have never been told at Syracuse. That's sick to me.
I just don't get it. It's like, you know, I mean, it's as if over the years, and it didn't start with Babers. It started before Coach Babers.
Right.
You know, it's just as if they're treating the media as a pariah. And I'm like, you know what? The one thing we learned with Coach Mack is the media can be your biggest asset. You know, it's, you know, the media was allowed in all of our practices. I was at Syracuse for 4 years, and not once did they ever give away a player to sign. Oh, here's her playbook. You know, other team. It's our local media. Of course, they're there to support us. So they're just here to watch and just understand and have a relationship with the players. I don't get this secretive, try and hide, I can see if you were someone like a Nick Saban who was a powerhouse, but even Nick Saban lets the media into his practices and things of that nature.
Yeah.
And they're good.
Well, that's the thing because, I mean, after a while, you know what a coach is. If a coach has been coaching, you know what the coach is going to do. I mean, there's no secrets. There's nothing, you know what I mean? But I just, like, as a fan first of the game, I like to sit and practice so that I can see things.
Yeah,
you know.
I mean, I want to evaluate the players and understand. Even someone who I'm very, very close with, Eric Coley. I don't know what Eric Coley's doing because I don't know when the practice is. And Deion told us they're going to change it to where he at least wants a former player to come up here and be able to see practice and talk to the players and conversate with them, things of that nature, which I think is the smartest thing to do because we did that for my 4 years at Syracuse and we loved it. We love to see a former player come back here and tell us his story. Tell us how he got through it. Tell us the grind he went through because he went through the exact same thing that we're going through right now. So that's a great thing to do, but we'll see how well that works. So I got a lot of faith in him right now because that's who I know, you know. But I mean, but I'm just saying, in situations like that, it's just, again, we're a family. I can go in there and they can give me their playbook. I guard that playbook like, you know, it was my life because I want to see Syracuse successful. So why would I tell any other person or any other school about this playbook?
Right. Well, that's the thing too. Is it's like it's not about like I want to do my job. You know what I mean? Like I want to do my job. Like I love what I do. I know that that's a rarity in society. You know, and I want everybody to be able to say what I get to say every morning, is that I do what I love and I love what I do, and I know you do that too.
Yeah, I do.
And I love that. But that's the thing. I love these kids. I'm never going to give up a playbook. I'm never gonna, you know, talk about, you know, this, that, whatever. Like, I'm there because I want to see. And Rob, I have not been at a Syracuse practice where I could watch the entire practice or 85% of the practice since Doug Marrone. I mean, we're talking 10 years, more than 10 years ago. Right around 10 years ago. Right around a decade ago was the last time we were allowed to see an entire practice.
Wow.
You know, and in the last, 5, 7, 8 years, what we've been able to see, stretching. You can come to Syracuse from 7:15 to 7:20 and watch 5 minutes of jumping jacks, and then you have to get in your car, go to a diner, go get some coffee, come back 2 hours later and do an interview. And I was like, I am not driving to watch people jumping jacks for 5 minutes and then come back 2 hours later. I'm not doing that to my... Fort Drum, even when we couldn't see them here, when they went to Fort Drum for 4 or 5 days, we could drive to Fort Drum, watch the entire practice. the last 1 or 2 years that they were up at Fort Drum, if people don't know this, they told us that we could drive up to Fort Drum, watch 15 minutes of practice. After driving 2 hours, we could watch 15 minutes of practice. Then we had to leave the base and come back as if it was down the road from our house. And I was like, I am not driving up to Fort Drum to watch practice for 15 minutes. That is insane. That's like telling me, hey, why don't you fly to Florida and go to Disney for 5 minutes?
It's not, my objective thing on that is it's not worth following if I got to go through it. If I got to jump through hoops to follow you, it's not worth it. I'll choose another team that to cheer for and follow. Like I said, I love my Orange, but I'm not jumping through hoops to be able to to be able to follow him. And I think. And hopefully, I think he's understanding that now, and he's getting there because it's not just me. I can go through, and I won't name names, through multiple alumni that are having the same problem. I don't go anywhere where I don't feel welcome. You know what? I'm reaching out with Syracuse now because Deion Maddox has put that bug in our ear, and he's somebody who makes me feel welcome. He makes me understand the sacrifice and everything we did up at Syracuse and what we created from the mid '80s, which is when this run of greatness started, and I was a part of that. So, I'm definitely do anything in my power to help another Syracuse, Orange brother, but they have to understand it's just like we don't want anything. We just want to be a part of what we started. We want to see what we started finished, and that's by going to bowl games, possibly getting back to the national championship, getting the great recruits, recruiting local, having this great, relationship between the community, and the university, which I'll tell you right now for a fact, it doesn't even exist. There's no buzz at all between the community and the athlete. I don't even think the athletes know, even going to the city or do any events or anything in the city. And that's sad. It truly, truly is. It's sad.
And so Syracuse makes a decision here with Rob Drummond on a wake-up call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. Syracuse makes a decision to bring in Deion Maddox and bring him here to Syracuse. Again, played at Syracuse as wide receiver. And they, put him in a position where we could change some things. What can you tell me about Deion as a human being, and why was it the right decision for everything we talked about this morning? Why do you believe that maybe Dino, with bringing in Deion, could be finally listening to some of these requests and seeing a change in where we go from here?
I'll put it this way, okay. I mean, for the last 5 years, going on 6 years of Dino's tenure, I've never really met Dino. I've never met anybody in his coaching staff, so I don't relate to him, and I'm more well known here than any of them. But the thing is, though, Deion Maddox is my brother. He played at Syracuse. He's one of us. He gets it. He understands. He understands it. He understands about the community. He understands about reaching out to former players. He understands about the camaraderie you can create just by reaching out to your brothers. Understand it's like, because as a player, like I told Deion yesterday, talking to him, it's like, I'm not going to tell you, I'm not going to send every athlete to you just because you're in there now. If I know NFL talent, I play in the NFL. I know professional and I know a kid. If I go to a high school and I see a kid and I think he's good, I'm like, wow, he's pretty good. What did I think about it? What did I first tell you about that kid from Auburn? I'll tell you.
Yeah.
I told you, it's like, the kid was the best out in the field, and he didn't have what? He didn't have the top end speed, I thought, for the
D1. You told me that he's good, but there's things he can work on.
Yep, things he can work on.
Yeah.
So I tell him, keep an eye on him, but there's things he can work on. He needs to work on his speed.
Yeah.
If he gets that explosive speed, yes, he's an instant D1 athlete. But right now, he does not have that explosive speed that I saw. And that's my 20-plus years of evaluating eyes of, seeing top-tier talent. But every other intangible, he fit. He had the size. He had the change. He had the toughness, the change of direction, the quick feet. Everything else he had, but it's just his speed is what I would worry about. But that's why I said with Deion, we have an end for them to understand us. As players, we don't want the world. We just want to be treated for the people that created what you're standing on. Holy smokes. You do understand that we're the ones that built this, right? We're the reason that Syracuse was put on such a high pedestal that started everything, going undefeated. Donnie McPherson getting drafted, me getting drafted, DJ getting drafted, Tommy Kane getting drafted, Rob Moore getting drafted. I go on and on and on, and Donovan McNabb, Rod Conrad, just the names I could throw at you. It's just that we're the ones that built this. And to shun us out, and just to turn your back and want to do it your own way, it's like, we get it, but it's like it hasn't been working. if you'd had it where you're nationally ranked all the time, or you're getting recruits, just not just locally, but you're not even doing that. So it's interesting. It's frustrating.
Yeah,
Really not. It's very frustrating.
And you and I have banged this drum for such a long time about two things: building football alumni positive relations, the university reaching back out to their football alumni like yourself and actually showing love and making you feel welcome and doing things for you and involving you on game day and involving you with the team and involving you with practice and involving you at events and pushing things that just really say thank you to the community and utilizing. It's the easiest thing in the world. You ask if Syracuse University called up a bunch of their football alumni and said, "Hey, we want to do a big time event for the fans in the reopening of the dome. We're going to do the games on Saturday. On Friday night, we're going to have a thing at the dome where we're going to have as many of you football alumni as can come out, and you're going to be able to meet the fans and sign autographs and take pictures." Who wouldn't come? Which one of you alumni wouldn't go, "Yeah, I'll go over there and sign autographs and meet the fans for a couple hours"? It's like these are easy fixes. These are easy things to do. This is not reinventing the wheel. This is like taking a screw that came out and screwing it back in, finding a new hole and putting it in. But it's just one of those things where I look at this and I say to myself, this is an easy fix. And the other thing that we talked about was recruiting locally, which we've discussed today. Two extremely key things that are very easy to do, which is recruit the kids that grew up wearing your jerseys and re-recruit the players that gave their blood, sweat, and tears to you. It's recruiting then and it's recruiting now. And it's two of the easiest things you can do from the comfort of your own home without having to do anything but maybe drive down the street, God forbid, or make a phone call. These are easy fixes. Literally, the easiest you can ask a team to do. Call the people that already loved you and talk to them. And because I've heard from alumni, I've heard from football alumni, actual football alumni that have been on the show for years, because I don't say, oh, such and such talk to him. No, I talk to them. And when I talk to them, you know what they told me, Rob? This made me sick. This should make the university sick, because if it's all about the money, listen. These football alumni said, we have checks, signed, money. We want to give to the university and give to the football program. All we want is a phone call. All we want is the coaching staff to call us up and recognize us and say hello. And they won't. So we ripped up the checks.
Yeah.
That is insane to me. This is an easy fix. Recruit the players that gave their lives to you and recruit the players that want to. I'm asking you to sell a product to people that already bought it and want to buy it. I'm not asking you to sell a product to people I'm not asking you to sell a cow to a vegan. I'm asking you to sell ice to somebody who loves to drink water. And they've already drank your water. The easiest sell in the world is to the clientele you already have, which is your alumni. And what kid has not grown up in Syracuse wearing some type of Syracuse something at some point in their life and envision themselves in the dome? So this is an easy sell. I did it. I thought about it every day of my life. So
I did too. I was fortunate enough to do it, but I did also.
So to me, Rob, two things we've talked about forever. Easiest things in the world to do. Recruit the people that already came here and recruit the people that want to come here.
I'm done. I'm done. Like you said with Einstein, I'm done trying to be Einstein.
Yeah.
Doing the same thing over and over and over, expecting a different result. Man, hopefully, with Deion, and Deion's a great guy. He truly is. I hope you honestly get a chance to interview him and meet him, because he's a great guy. And he means well, but he's up against. He'll do well because of the simple fact that he's got. I'll make sure he has so many people in his corner. Especially here in the city of Syracuse. But I don't have an end with. It's Syracuse up there. As I said before, I haven't been up on the campus since Babers has been up there. I've never met him or anyone, never met anybody in his coaching staff. So I don't know what's going on in there. He knows, but I'm here to help him. Hopefully we get a chance to meet him and get a chance to right what we see is going wrong. But you gotta what's the word I'm looking for? You got to be able to swallow your pride and allow others to help you. You know, and that just goes that comes from a man. That's not Robert Drummond, the football player. That's just Robert Drummond, the man. At any point, even as a man, swallow your pride and let others help you. Even I had to learn to do that. You know, we're so prideful and we know everything and we're big, strong, tough. You know, hey, it's not about that. If somebody's willing to help you and they know it just as much as you know, let them help you. You know, that's a positive thing. You know, it's not about being tough and being the biggest and being the baddest and being the most important. Nah, that's out the window. It's about being productive for everybody. If anybody can make my business, if anybody can make my productivity better, come along, please. Help me help myself. I gladly take your help, you know? And that's one thing that some of these coaches have to understand. It's just, we're just trying to help you. We're not, you know, if you want all the honor, all the glory and everything, be my guest. No, but I mean that's you watch. I'm not trying to get into a tit for tat like like Bill Belichick and Tom Brady, who both thought they were the greatest things as to why they won so many Super Bowls in New England. It's like, hey, how about you both just you guys just won Super Bowls and just leave it at that. No one cares who. I mean, you both are good at what you did, so just let it go.
Yeah.
Holy smokes! It's about trying to one up somebody. I'm not about that one up life.
No, you and I are about the. We both love the alumni, and you are one of them, and we both love the kids here. So we've always come from a place of respect where you came from and respect where you're going.
Definitely.
So
I can help these kids,
and that's all it's about. So I'm happy Deion's here. I'm happy he's got the high school relations, and I hope that he has the freedom to get after it because we need it. But again, if you ever want to look back at a track record of who's been talking about these things forever and a day, Rob and I have a few videos. I think at this point there's 1,072. But, we have a few times that we talked about this, Rob, and, and the time that you caused an earthquake at the Wildcat. So there's that too. And, but, we both care, and at the end of the day, I just want to see the alumni be able to, ride off into the sunset feeling loved by the university, and I want these kids to feel the same way. So I'm not asking for anything other than somebody's time and just, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. If you recruit this kid, it doesn't, whatever. But at least try to do it. Like, I've asked a lot of girls out, Rob, and some of them said no, and some of them said yes. But you know what? When I didn't do it, that's when I kicked myself. Yeah. So, it's like you're not going to get everybody, but you're going to get somebody. And, and as Floyd Little said in his fantastic words, and his words live with me every day because I love that man. And he is one of my friends, and I can honestly tell you that it is one of the greatest accomplishments that I don't deserve in my life to be able to call him my friend. Yeah. And he said to me, I get really emotional, but he said to me, and he said it a lot, you dance, he said there's a lot of girls that are pretty at the dance, and you want to dance with them all, but you dance with the one that wants to dance with you. And yeah. Syracuse University, you have so many players that want to dance with you. Yeah. Just put your pride aside and stick your hand out, because you know what? I'm gonna be honest with you. 1 in 10, you can only go one game worse than that. So at this point, sticking your hand out to dance with somebody that wants to dance with you, I'm gonna venture to say it's gonna be better than worse.
I agree. Here's the thing. Imagine how rocking Syracuse is gonna be next year with 3 local kids on the team.
Yeah.
3 local kids on the team.
Yeah, talking about basketball, yeah.
Yep, with basketball. Buddy, Jimmy, and Samir.
Yeah.
I mean, that place is, this whole town is going to be a buzz. Because you've got local kids who we can relate to on the team, When they lose, we lose. When they win, we feel that same pride of, one of our own did it. That's the one thing, and that's the psychology. That's just the psychology of the game. Even as a player, when I would go out there and I would find myself not playing well, I would always say to myself, it's like, Robert, this is my city, this is my town, these are my fans and my people cheering for me. I got to get better. And it would drive me. It would inspire me.
That's what Gerard, another guy, that's what he said. He's like, when I'm playing bad and I go and I talk to Glens Falls, he goes, please understand, those people are on my butt. Like, he's like, my community is like, yo, you need to shoot better. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like, you got a guy from Glens Falls, you got 2 JD kids, and you got a kid that, in Syair coming from Marquette and coming back here to the community and coming from our south side and being here again and being here with his family and his brother and whatnot. There's something to be said about it. And it's a story that I could tell you that, is not told a lot here. But, the irony and the craziness of it, just to juxtapose for a minute, Jim Boeheim recruits locally and appreciates the kids in the community. And 9 times out of 10, he goes to the NCAA tournament. Syracuse football gets rid of their coach, or their coach leaves every 3 to 5 years, and they lose consistently, and they don't recruit locally. So tell me the difference between the two, because Boeheim, and the other thing is, when Boeheim gets a phone call from one of the alumni to go to the game, there's tickets at will call.
Oh my gosh, I talk to Derek and Billy all the time about that. Good grief. Granted, it's less of them, but holy smokes, it's a great marketing tool.
Yeah. So the reality of it all is, I would think that if one part of your university is doing things very, 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 very well, and the other part is doing things not so well, maybe it would take something to just maybe call up Jimmy and go, hey, when you're good to the community and you recruit locally and you actually care about your alumni, it seems like you guys win. And Jim would say, well, yeah, we do. And then that would be a very easy phone call to make. So, just look at it, okay? We don't need to reinvent the Reese's Peanut Butter Cup. Sometimes you just have to have the balls to try one. So, that's how I look at it. It's like, it's right there. It's right. I mean, you asked for a turkey sandwich, and the turkey sandwich is waiting on your desk, so why aren't you eating it? So, I just give the kids a chance, build it with the alumni. This seems like the dumbest 2 things to have to tell somebody, but I have to tell somebody, and Rob and I have been doing this for as long as we've known each other, and we will do it until it changes, and if it never changes, at least we know we asked the school to do what we thought was best.
He's going to, as I said, Coach Babers is going to do what he wants to do. Hopefully, it's the right thing. It's just the past 5 years should be an outline for him that whatever he's doing, it's just like, let's be honest, it's not working.
Right.
With the exception of the one unbelievable year.
Which was with Schaefer's athletes.
Yes.
It was with Schaefer's players. And it was one of the greatest quarterbacks, heart-wise, and in general, to ever come to Syracuse. Without Eric Dungy, that team maybe wins 4 games.
Oh, I agree.
So, it's like you can't teach a dog how to be a dog. So, they're just a dog. So, Rob, we love the kids. I love all you alumni. I have nothing but tremendous respect for you, and you know this already, but with every breath that I take, I will do everything I can to make sure the kids in this community are heard and the alumni that gave so much to the city that I love are heard. Because if for nothing else, I will give you all a voice, because I cannot sleep at night if I didn't. So I am more than honored and privileged and proud and happy and elated and joyful to know that people like yourself have allowed me to be a part of your life. And if for nothing else, at least the kids like Syair and at least the alumni like yourself will always have a place to go, because in my heart of hearts, more than anything else I do with my job, I love being able to tell stories, and I love being able to build friendships with people that start out as an interview and become one of my best friends. So if for nothing else, Rob, we've already done a heck of a lot, and in my life, you've already made an impact, so I want to thank you for that.
You're welcome. Well, thanks. It was saying that. I thought I was a knucklehead, but
yeah, I didn't say you weren't a knucklehead. I just said I love that knucklehead. That's all I said. I want to go on record being clear. But bro, I love you as always, and I got nothing but respect for you. So you and I will be talking very soon, and the next time I bring you on the show and ask you how your day is, it'll be after we go and do something fun. So
no doubt.
All right, brother, be good and keep helping these kids, and keep being good to yourself. You're one of the greatest people, and one of the, I can't say that you're one of the most untapped resources in the city from my point of view, because you and I talk all the time, but I just hope that this community can really just understand that they have a diamond in the rough that was brushed off and did amazing things, and is still a diamond in the rough that deserves to be brushed off and put back on the shelf. So if for nowhere else, just know that you have my respect and my love, and I will do whatever it takes to make sure that you and I as a team make a difference in this community.
Well, thanks. You also, man. I mean, I say I'll never turn my back on Syracuse and the athletes and the people here. Never. They made me who I am, the man I am today.
Yeah. That coming from Rob Drummond, Syracuse, CFL, and NFL, and one of the greatest human beings I know. Rob, I'll talk to you soon.
All right, Dan.
Take care.
Later, bro.
See you. That coming from Mr. Drummond once again here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. I'm amped this morning. I got emotions running through me. I'm like, so like, but that's because we love this community. I want nothing more than to see the kids here be recruited, the alumni respected, and the team win. Past, present, and future taken care of by doing those things. That's all I want. That's all I want. And who would fight with that? Only a crazy person. We'll take a step aside for a fast break. When we come back, Syair Torrence gets to tell his story as one of the players that actually has been recruited by Syracuse. And hopefully, I'm hoping that this is a sign of positive things to come.
Avicoli's Restaurant, located right at the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road, is proud to be your local neighbor, growing with you for over 20 years. We're open 7 days a week for lunch, dinner, and drinks. For takeout, delivery. Avicoli's Restaurant, located right at the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road, is proud to be your local neighbor, growing with you for over 20 years. We're open 7 days a week for lunch, dinner, and drinks. For takeout, delivery, or catering, call us at 315-622-5100. When you order online and use our promo code AVS10, you will save 10% on your online purchase at myavicolis.com. And make sure to join us monthly for our live on-site broadcasts centered around Liverpool athletics. Avicoli's, your local, trusted neighbor right at the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road.
Having peace of mind when you're out of town that your furry-loving friend is safe and sound means taking them to Canine Campground, because we all know that when it comes to the love of our pets, it goes well beyond the call of duty to make sure they're safe and sound. Right, Lily? So take a ride to 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, New York, and see Canine Campground and where your dog will be staying, in the classic cabin, the executive cabin, the grand cabin, or of course the luxury cabin, because if you know Lily, you know she loves luxury. Now you don't have to wait to the last minute to find a family member or a friend that'll take your dog for a few days. Call Canine Campground at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. Their drop-off and pickup times are Monday through Sunday. Check K9campground.com for more information. That's the letter K, the number 9, and campground spelled with a K.com. K9campground.com.
When you're going out of town, bring your dog to Canine Campground.
In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville beats. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you.
I'm George Townsend of Honda City with some good advice when buying a new car. The true cost of owning a new car is determined by the appraised value when you trade it. No vehicle appraises higher than a Honda. Next, look for low APRs and deep discounts. You also want low maintenance costs and great fuel economy. That's why my advice to you is to buy a new Honda. Looking pre-owned, visit our Honda Certified Used Car Center. Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard, Liverpool, or HondaCity-CNY.com.
It would be a pity shop at Honda City.
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have at any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on wakeupcalldt.com, your one-stop sports shop, on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt, where you're listening to internet streaming radio worldwide, and of course on our internet streaming video worldwide on facebook.com/livenowdt and on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. This gentleman that's about to join us is no stranger to the broadcast, and we get to celebrate having him back to the show with him having his first collegiate Division I-A FBS scholarship to continue his football career and scholastic career. And not only are we talking to him on the heels of his first offer, it's an offer that comes right down the road from Syracuse University. So I'm very happy and thrilled to have CBA's Syair Torrence here with us, who's been recruited as an athlete to Syracuse, and we have plenty to talk about today, so much to get into, so let's bring him in. Syair, how you doing today?
I'm doing good.
And Syair, first and foremost, for you, being in 2024, we were talking about it off the air, you have plenty of time to be recruited. So what does it mean to you that you already have your first offer here in 2021 with 3 years to go until you actually head to college?
It's a blessing that I have an offer, especially as a freshman, but I can't get too comfortable, and I just gotta keep getting better at the things that I don't think I'm doing good at. And the things that I'm doing good at, I just gotta keep improving it.
What are the areas where you think you need to get better at? What are some of those focus areas?
I need to get better at my speed, a little of my route running, and I want to grow. I want to be over 6 foot, and I want to get my weight up too.
So the growth is something you got no control over, but obviously the weight and the other things, route running and whatnot, you do. Has the doctor kind of in physicals and in a checkup given you like a ballpark of where they think you'll be height-wise?
They said around 6'3", 6'2".
Okay. And so for you, where would you like your weight to be that you can control?
I would like to have my weight around 195 through to 205.
Okay, fair enough. And are you working on any regiments now as you're, obviously getting to play and get back on the field? Are you doing anything specifically right now to work out or to, eat a certain way? What are you kind of doing right now to try and facilitate that?
I'm working out on Saturdays morning with my coach, and that's really it. And sometimes I go on the football field across my street and run around.
And so for you, Syair, to have like this time to grow and blossom and kind of see, what you can do as you move forward. You said about the height, they're putting you at maybe 6'2", 6'3". You want to be around 195, 205. The workout regimen that you had before you were playing, what did you do to prepare yourself for a season in a year where you didn't know if there was going to be one?
I used to go to Strides, and basically they helped me with my quickness, my speed, and my strength on my lower body and my upper body. So they really prepared me. And I used to go to my cousin's house during the beginning of the COVID season, the coronavirus, and he used to help me too. So they really helped me.
And for you to, be in that situation where you didn't know if you're going to have a season, how did you navigate that time? Did you have low points, high points? Where did you kind of, how would you describe maybe how you handled something that none of us were prepared for?
I just stayed motivated, and every time, like, I used to watch my last year's season, and I wanted to prove what I didn't do and what I did do on the off season. So I just really stayed motivated the whole off season.
And staying motivated, how did you do that for yourself? What did you do to keep yourself motivated from the inside out?
I asked my coach for workouts to do on the field work, and we used to go to Nottingham, sometimes Valley, to go to do field work, really. And it's usually me, him, my quarterback, and two other people that used to come. So he really helped me get better for the off season.
Speaking here with Syair Torrence, a 2024 athlete who just received an offer from Syracuse University, his first offer coming from Christian Brothers Academy. Syair, you mentioned that your quarterback would go out there and help you out on the field and do some workouts and whatnot. What can you tell me about your relationship with Jordan Ray and what he's meant to you?
I knew Jordan since we was 8, I believe. So I used to be playing football with him since flag football when we was younger, indoor flag. So we really had a relationship before I came to CBA. And really, he told me to go to CBA so me and him could team up. And
relationship, when I asked you about Jordan, you laughed immediately. What made you laugh about it?
Now, our relationship is funny. It's funny, and it's just a good relationship with me and him. Like, we really understand each other on the football field and off the football field. So we're not just friends on the football field. We're not just friends on the football field. We're like, he's basically like a brother to me, basically.
And having that connection, having that, more than a friend and more like a brother, how does that translate onto the football field successfully?
It translates because he know how to find me open, and I know how to get open for him, and we really understand each other. I know when he's going to throw the ball. He knows when I'm going to get out of breaks, and that's really it.
And for that to be something that you have, that relationship that you have to kind of push each other and whatnot, you said you've been friends for a long time. How long have you been catching passes from Jordan Ray?
Since we was 8, really.
Oh, wow. So what can you say about the evolution of it? Where have you seen him get better, and where have you seen yourself get better?
I seen him got better on his arm, his strength, his speed, and really how to be a better quarterback. Really, his vision is great. He know how to read the defense coverage. He knows how to beat the coverage. He's a great quarterback, really, especially as a sophomore. And what was the question about me?
Where you've seen?
I seen myself improve on my speed, a little on my speed, and me recognizing the defense coverages, and knowing the mismatch that I have on whoever's guarding me. I feel like there's always a mismatch on me because I know how to beat the corner. I know how to beat whoever's guarding me.
When you say you feel like there's always a mismatch because you know how to beat the corners, where that knowledge of the game and whatnot, what are you seeing on the field? I don't want you to give away your secrets over here and whatnot, but what makes you believe that no corner can beat you?
It's really my heart and like the mindset I have. I feel like I'm the best wide receiver in New York, and that's really it. If I have that mindset all the time, I feel like no one can stop me.
And you saying, you're the best receiver in the state of New York and having that mindset, how do you keep that mindset like focused and just, how do you stay with it and really truly believe that with everything you got?
It's hard to get in my head, really. If someone get in my head, it's either I'm frustrated on what's happening on the offense, or it's just really if I'm frustrated. It's hard to get in my head because I'm locked in. I don't really talk on offense. I listen to my quarterback, see what he wants me to do, and really that's it. And I complete the passes.
That coming from Syair Torrence here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, 2024 athlete coming out of Christian Brothers Academy on the heels of his first offer, which just so happens to be from the school down the road in Syracuse University. Let's speak on that offer. How did you find out that you had the offer from Syracuse? Bring me into the exact moment.
I was walking up the field, and Coach Brown really told me, he said he just got done talking to Syracuse. They offered me an athlete scholarship, really, and that was it.
What was your first thought, first reaction, first, anything after you found that out?
My first reaction was it was surprising, and then after I was surprised, I started crying. Then he told me to call my mom. Before she answered, I was saying to myself and saying, like, I can't believe this happened. And when she answered, I just started crying right away, told her that I got an offer from Syracuse.
And so, those tears, what were you feeling and thinking when those tears kind of just flowed out of you naturally?
I was thinking that a kid from the South Side really got an offer from a D1 school, and that's kind of hard, really.
Yeah, you talk about a kid from the South Side getting an offer. Why, what makes you sit and think about it in that respect, thinking about, where you've grown up and why you think a kid from the South Side wouldn't get that look?
It's hard. What? Ask the question again.
Just what you could. No, you're okay. Just what you could say from, you said a kid from the South Side to get it. So just why you specifically, think that it would be hard to get an offer from the South Side. Like why you feel that in your community, maybe somebody wouldn't see you.
It's just hard for me because like I live in the South Side and it's just, you don't really see that from any kid, especially my age. Because now in this generation, it's kids that's like growing up, not doing what I'm doing, and just really doing bad things. But I feel like it's hard. It was harder for me because I grew up from like some people like that, and I had to stay away from them. So it was just hard.
And for you to, like you said, just stay away from certain things and stay focused and whatnot. Was it ever hard for you to stay away from something that might take you away from it?
It wasn't hard, but it wasn't easy because I don't really leave the house. Only time I leave the house is like football, but if I like go to like my friend's house or hit a party, I like usually don't, if I don't see something that I don't like, I really just like stay away from it and like back up from it.
Have you ever felt like it was something that just was really in your face? Was there ever a moment or two that you've had growing up so far where you felt like in a bad situation where you really had to focus?
It was a moment when I had to just separate myself from what people say, and I just had to separate myself from them.
Speaking here with Syair Torrence, 2024 athlete with an offer from Syracuse from CBA. Syair, for the people that don't know the South Side, don't know growing up there, don't know the world that is there in the community, how would you describe growing up there?
It's really the people around here is just fun. It's fun to be around, and it's hard to live in the South Side, but it's fun to live in the South Side because you always have fun times and always having fun. Really, you can have fun in the South Side easily. You could meet new people that you never met. That's just really how the community is. It's fun to be around people.
And what are some of those things that when you say, like, you know, it's easy to meet people and it's easy to have fun in the South Side, what are some of the things you like to do in the community that you really feel like are special?
It used to be a time when on Salina Street, it used to be a time that I don't know if it was a holiday, but it was like bounce house next to stores, and everybody used to go there. Like every kids, a lot of people, and that's really how you meet new friends. Is because we all, like, the community just come together and have fun with each other.
So you have that community and that connection. What is a misconception of the South Side? What's something that you think people, you know, might say or think when they and not actually know the side? What would you say are maybe some of the things that people say that you don't think are true about the community?
When the first mind comes to the South Side, it's probably bad, but really, it's not. Sometimes it has its days when it's bad, but most of the time it's quiet, it's fun. It's just really a community that's getting better when time go by.
You know, and growing up on the South Side here in Central New York, how has it made you a better person, Syair? How has it made you into the person you are today?
Really, it helped me how to, like, understand people, how to talk to people, and how to have fun when things are when there's fun things to do. It helped me have fun and enjoy the moment with others, really.
That coming here from Syair Torrence. Syair, for you, the community, obviously your siblings were there with you and your parents and whatnot. When I spoke with your brother Samir, who has now decided to come back from Marquette and join Syracuse and come back to the community that he grew up in, he told me about your dad having to go away for a while and not be there. How difficult was that for you, not having your dad at home?
It was really difficult, especially when I was young, because I really didn't. I had a father, but then he was really taken away from me for a long time. And, like, and now that he's back home, it's just like, it's really hard because the relationship was taken from us, and now it's like, it's getting better. But it's like, it's just hard really, because it takes time. It just takes a lot of time, really, because since I was young, my mom had to step in and, like, be the mother and the father, really.
Well, you know, and that's the thing is, you know, people don't talk about the reintegration, you know, and getting everybody back together and whatnot. You know, they just think like, oh, you know, somebody comes home and everything's normal, but all this time had passed in between. And I know you said it's a work in progress, but what was it like to see your dad come home, like the actual moment? Was it surreal, gonna be finally coming back home for good?
I was happy, and I was crying for like about 30 minutes because my dad finally got back home, really. It was just tears of joy.
You know, and having, what are some of the things you feel like you've learned the most from your father? What are maybe some things you feel like he's given to you to help you be who you are?
He really just told me respect everybody, even if you don't like them, and no matter what, always be yourself. Don't let nobody change who you are. That really, he just told me respect and always be how I am.
You know, you talked about your mother having to be both parents. What can you say about what your mother has taught you?
My mother has taught me that never give up. Even when the situation is hard, you always stay committed of what you did. And at the end of the day, it'll really be the best thing ever, really.
And mom, for you, seeing her be two parents, how would you describe how she's raised you over the years here? What has she done as far as, you know, how have you seen her be both parents in the household?
She got to run around the house, drive around the world, really, for me and my brother, just to support both of us. And that's really hard, especially to be one parent in the house. It was really hard for her, but I'm very happy that she did it, and I appreciate her so much.
You know, and Syair said a lot of great things about you, and he thinks that there's a chance that you can be just as good, if not better than him. What do you think about when he says something like that he thinks you can be just as good as he is and can be, and that he thinks you could be even better?
I think that I got a lot of time, but I can't waste them times. I have to keep improving of what I do. I can't slack off. I can't stop what I'm doing. I just got to keep improving on the times.
And, you know, making those improvements, now you have your brother back in the community. We didn't know if this was going to happen, obviously, that this world could happen. I mean, you know, there's different things, blessings that have happened in your life. You know, your dad coming home, your mom stepping up and everything that she's done, getting an offer that you just got. But finding out your brother was coming home, just bring me into that moment for you as a family.
As a family, we was all happy. Really, we supported we were supporting whatever his decision was, and that was really it. I didn't know. He told my mom, and my mom never told me, but I found out when he posted it. That's when I found out.
So did you call him up and give him some hell for that, not telling you and you finding it out on social media?
No, I know why he didn't tell me, because he probably think I got a big mouth and tell everybody.
What'd you have?
No.
Okay.
Probably.
But so I mean, you can say as brothers, which is really, really cool, and in your family, just really awesome, that, you know, from this Torrance family, that, you know, you and Syair can both say that you've been offered by Syracuse no matter what happens. What does that mean to you? That, you know, you on the football field, him on the basketball court, that you both have been offered by Syracuse University, the school that you grew up with just a few minutes away?
It was really the best moment, but I know I still got time, and whatever offers come at me is just whatever my decision is.
Do you have a dream school? Do you have a school that has stuck out to you growing up?
I used to always watch Syracuse, but then I don't know really, since time went by, and really the LSU 2019 team, it just really stuck out to me that I gotta focus on a wide receiver school. And I don't really have a favorite team. I just look at schools that's really a wide receiver school.
And who are some of those schools that you think are predominantly wide receiver schools in your opinion?
The schools that I've been looking at, really, I don't really know some schools. I know it's some schools for quarterback schools. Like Oklahoma is definitely a quarterback school. So it's just whatever team that like to pass a lot for me that I like.
You know, in Syracuse, you told me has given you this offer as an athlete. Are you focused on playing wide receiver in college, or is there another position you'd look at?
Right now I'm focused on playing wide receiver in college, but defense is really fun for me to play because it really take out all my anger out on the field.
And so, I mean, for you, if you were asked to play defense, if some of these schools recruited you defensively, would that be okay with you, or do you want them to recruit you as an athlete?
It'll be okay with me, but I know what I could do on offense, on the offensive wise too.
And for you, I know you said you focused on Syracuse growing up, and now, you look at more wide receiver schools. Does Syracuse have a special place still? I mean, do they have meaning? I know they're your first offer and you got plenty of time, but is that exciting to you or enticing to you that your hometown school gave you an offer?
It is exciting to me because, especially at my age, that you don't really see that a lot. Your hometown school offering you at your age and your brother just committed there. It's just really a blessing that happened.
Well, and there also is the reality that Syracuse has not really recruited the area and tends to not even recruit Central and Upstate New York. So what does it mean to you to be a part of hopefully a transformation into a better chapter where Syracuse University is recruiting more local talent? What does it mean to be one of the few people that they've really recruited in the area?
It means a lot to me because they know some of my talents, and really it just means a lot to me because my talent, my game is like, I don't know, my game to the college coaches coming back to me, and they're telling me they like how I play and they offering me, so it just means a lot to me.
And for you, like you said, you got very emotional over it. You know that's the first offer, and Syracuse being right down the road. Could you see yourself playing locally? I mean, do you want to go away to college and leave the community? Would you mind staying in the community? How do you see it from the perspective of, I know some people like to stay at home and some people don't want to stay at home, so how do you look at it?
I don't really know. I don't really know what I want to do. It's just whatever fits best for me.
And, for the schools that now see that offer from Syracuse, undoubtedly other schools will look at you, be it in the ACC, be it in the Northeast, and so on and so forth. Schools will start to look at your film maybe a little bit deeper. So what do you want college programs to know around the country? If they were all listening right now, what would you want them to know about Syair Torrence?
That I'm a person that listens to the coaches, and whatever they want me to do, I'll do it. Even if I don't like it, I'll still do it. I'm a person that will really, if you told me to play offense, but not a lot, I'll still do it. If you told me to play defense and I didn't like defense, I'll still do it. It's just, I'm a person that stay committed, and no matter what, I'll listen.
Yeah, and essentially what you're describing is the we over me. What makes you want to be a team player so bad? Because some people only focus on their statistics. Why do you focus on everybody?
If I focus on everybody more than I focus on myself, we'll be really a better team, how I view it. I feel like if I'm a team player, it can help the team chemistry. It can help the team go out with each other more. It can help the team do better on the football field more.
And in having that, as you step forward and knowing that other schools will be looking at you and will be, checking your film and whatnot, we talked about things you want to work on, but what are your best attributes? What are the things you think you're doing very well this season that you feel should show up on film?
I think I'm doing very well on getting open a lot. That's one thing I feel like I'm doing very well at. And I'm doing well on, taking the defense up. Since I got the offer of Syracuse, I feel like the defense will mostly look at me, and I could get my other wide receivers open, and they can have their sign of the game.
And when you look at your team right now at CBA, what do you like about the makeup of it? What can you tell me about the offense, the wide receiver core? And we talked about your quarterback, Jordan Ray, but what do you like about the rest of the offense and the wide receiver room?
I feel like we have the best wide receivers in Section 3. That's really how I view it.
And why is that? What is it about the room that makes you feel that way?
Because you can't really double one person, because if you double one person, you're missing out on the 2 or 3 other wide receivers that's really good. So I feel like if you try doubling me, that will get my other receivers to eat up really, and you can't double me no more. So it's really, you just gotta hope for the best.
You know, and you got to have a season this season. We didn't know when it was going to come, and then we heard finally March. To get back onto the field, Syair, what did it mean to you the moment that you stepped onto the field and the nightmare was over, so to speak, and you were back playing football again, going through all of this time and all of this unknown and uncertainty? When you finally got back onto the field, what did that moment feel like for you?
It felt right. It felt like it felt like home, really. If I didn't have the field, I don't know what would be home to me. And that field is just really special in a lot of ways.
Having your brother come back and sit in the stands and get to see you, what was that experience like for you to have him back? I know when I talked to him, he was getting ready to go to your game. So what was that like for you?
It was just really enjoyment, because he never watched my football game, my high school football game with me yet, and having him watching me this season is just great to me.
And you know, as far as what Syracuse is getting with him, like I said, he spoke highly of you. What is Syracuse basketball getting with Syair Torrence? With your older brother coming onto the team at the point guard position, what is Syracuse gaining?
They're gaining a team person, a team player. They're gaining a person with very high IQ, a caring person, and really a point guard that know how to move the offense and how to work the offense, really.
With him coming back and with you having plenty of time here to do what you need to do, you're both in the community again. What makes you appreciate and care for this community? I mean, it's your hometown, Central and Upstate New York. We talked about growing up on the South Side, and you know how it's, you know, how there's a lot that can be had there, and getting to know people and building up the community and whatnot. How would you describe your community? Why do you enjoy being in Central and Upstate New York? What makes it special? Because I think that, you know, especially in the football field, there's not always a lot of respect for the players here, which I think is ridiculous, and I do my best to try and change that and put a spotlight on each of you because you deserve it. But what do you like about being in this community?
It's really, the community really, most people support you, and the community really spread your voice, and that's really the great part about it. You get your voice heard in this community, really.
You know, and in the South Side, do you feel like voices are heard, or could the community do a better job at making sure the South Side is heard?
I feel like the South Side, the community is, the voices of the community is heard, but sometimes I feel like we gotta do better, especially as a community.
And for you to, you know, have this opportunity as a community to get better, how can we get better? Because I think if this last year has shown us anything, it's that we can all do better. So how can we get better in how the South Side is treated, spoken about, whatever it may be? What areas can get better?
Really supporting each other in the community. That's really the number one thing. Don't down each other, always support each other. And it's just really the support of the community that makes it a great community.
That coming from Syair Torrence. Syair, you've been through a lot and had to be patient. As a kid who couldn't go into a classroom, couldn't see your classmates, couldn't go to a dance, couldn't go to practice, couldn't go to a game, and whatnot. What have you learned from all of this put together? How has all of this made you a better person? That, you know, football was taken away temporarily, school was taken away temporarily. socializing with friends, really everything that makes being a kid went away temporarily. So what did that all teach you?
It really teach me to have fun still. No matter what's taken away from you, you always find something to have fun. And that's really it. And stay motivated for the sport that you love. And having fun, try and find a way to hang out with your friends. And that's really it. Just try to have fun. Always find something.
And coming from Syair Torrence, speaking here with us on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Cubal Studios, following his first collegiate offer as a 2024 incoming freshman, and that offer from Syracuse University. Syair, not just about CBA, but in general, what should the country know about the talent in Central and Upstate New York? As I alluded to before, I feel that you're not spoken about enough, supported enough, and some coaches know. Steve Adazio, who was at BC, who's now at Colorado State, he's done a good job over the years of really maybe arguably the best job at recruiting the area. Randy Etzel at UConn, who used to be a coach at Syracuse, and so is Steve Adazio. He still recruits the area. So there are people that come here and look at the area. Buffalo recruits the area well. What can you say about how we can get better in the what do you want people to know about the athletes here in the community, and how would you like the country to recruit Central and Upstate New York?
I feel like the Central New York State is really a top 10 great football state. Well, great sports for the state. It's just everyone in this neighborhood, not neighborhood, in this state, their heart is just really what beats anything. Their heart would without their heart, really, not without. It's like without their motivation, they wouldn't be how they are. I feel like the 315 is really the best state for sports wise.
And talking about that heart, something that you can't teach. When you experience that and you know that, is that the best thing to have on the field? I mean, no matter how much you prepare and know film and work out and run and whatnot, I mean, is heart really the best thing that you can have out there on the field, in your opinion, or is it something else?
I feel like it is. And with your teammates being next to you, it makes it even better. So it's just really your heart and like your teammates on the field that's making it better for you.
CBA has sent talent professionally. One of those guys will be in the 2021 NFL Draft in Stevie Scott, the third, coming out of CBA at running back and playing at Indiana and setting a record at Indiana for the most rushing yards ever by a true freshman at Indiana, which is over 1,000. And what he's done these last couple seasons in general has been fantastic. They had an almost perfect season and pushed Ohio State to the brink. What does it mean to you to come from the same school as a guy who will be in this year's NFL Draft and undoubtedly will make a team very happy on draft day?
It's really great for me because since he came from CBA, other coaches will look into CBA and find me.
Simple as that. That coming from Syair Torrence. Syair, final piece here. Give you the opportunity to flip the script and ask me any three questions. It can be about literally anything: sports, life, movies, music, literally whatever you want. 3 questions you have. It's called rapid fire. So whenever you're ready, go ahead and ask your first question.
Shoot, I don't really know. What high school football team have improved from last year to this year?
Well, I think every team, has obviously hopefully seen some growth somewhere because you had everything taken away from you. And so hopefully that has created the intent to get better. But I think Christian Brothers Academy, where you are, I mean, that's my alma mater. And I think that, for me, I know what CBA football was like here in the Syracuse community when I was going to school there. And I know that there's been some struggle to get back up. So I think, seeing some of the talent come through there and what you've been able to do, I'm hoping that, CBA is on the upswing, because I was used to, if CBA didn't have a perfect season and fight for like a state championship or go through sectionals and whatnot, then it was a bad year. So I would like to hope that you guys at CBA here in Syracuse are getting better. What's your next one for me?
Do you think the world is great how it is right now?
Absolutely not. I think that the failure to love people that have different opinions is crazy. I think that, this world flourishes on the fact that we don't all believe the same thing, but hopefully we have the same desires and message. So if everybody wants to be healthy and safe and happy and have a good education and a good neighborhood and, affordable health care and all the things that we should all want, food and clothing and shelter and enough money to take care of what we need to take care of, plus, do some fun things like go on vacation. I think we all want the same stuff. So the fact that men and women are treated differently, different colors are treated differently, different religions are treated differently, I think that we have a lot of work to do, but I don't think a Catholic or a Jew or a Muslim or black, white, brown, purple, blue, or a man or a woman or a child, I don't think anybody should go to sleep at night scared. And until we get to a place where freedom is for everybody and everyone is treated equally and appreciated equally and everybody has an equal opportunity to get after something, I don't think anybody needs to suffer. I don't think you take away from one color to give to another color, because you shouldn't be taken away from anybody. I don't think you take from one religion to give to another. I don't think you take from a man to give to a woman or a woman to a man. I think that everybody should be treated the way that God made us, which is equal. Different crayons in the crayon box, but we're all in the same box, and you need every single one of them to make a perfect box. So I think the sooner we realize that we all have more similarities than differences, we could start taking care of each other and being good to each other, and I look forward to seeing a positive move forward from here. What is your final one?
What kept you motivated during the COVID-19 season?
What kept me motivated? My faith in God more than anything. I would say, that kept me motivated. Making changes in my life for a healthy mind and healthy body and walking every day. It changed my ability to think more clearly, to be more positive, to help myself better, to not need any outside influence to get me to feel better. It also strengthened me physically and helped me, to look physically the way that I want to. So I think that what got me through this time is more than anything God, and then really just taking responsibility for my life and doing more for myself and taking care of myself. And, just watching TV shows and keeping it simple and playing with my dog and, just being there for my friends. And God gave me a lot of really cool blessings. My best friend came up here to live for a while. I was totally surprised, never thought that would happen. And a couple of my friends came up here, and I got to rekindle with some friends, and I got to FaceTime with a lot of people and meet a lot of new people through this and through Zoom and all those things. Got to meet you through all this. So, I would tell you that this past year has been one of the greatest years of my life as far as evolving, becoming more positive, and really making every moment count. So I can't tell you that I had a bad year. I feel for everybody that's been affected by this, because we all have, but I lean on God. And when you lean on God, as bad as things are, it's not that bad. So I don't know how people get through life without faith or without God, but, that's what I lean on, and that's what I have, and that's my focus, and I'm just surrounded by really great people, and I take care of myself. So to tell you this last year was one of the greatest improvements in my life would be an understatement. And with that being said, I'm now off the hot seat. So for Syair Torrence here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, Syair with his first offer coming from Syracuse University, which makes me very happy to see the local school celebrate the local talent here in Central and Upstate New York. A wide receiver / athlete coming out of CBA for 2024, and the younger brother of Syair Torrence, who's now coming to Syracuse. So, Syair, I appreciate it. Appreciate your time. I'm so thankful and grateful that you have an offer and that your hard work is paying off and that you have so much time to gain more. I hope you end up with 50 offers, and I will be here through the whole process and would definitely love to keep talking with you and really do appreciate you and your family as well.
Thank you.
Coming once again from Syair Torrence, getting recruited by Syracuse University. And just as Rob and I have talked about for the better part of a decade about the need for Syracuse to recruit locally, to have that conversation continue today with Rob and lead into the fact that Syracuse has given an offer to Syair Torrence, which I'm very excited to see. We'll take our final step aside of today's broadcast. When we come back, we'll wrap up the show and get you ready for what's coming up tomorrow as we go on-site, on location in the community of Central and Upstate New York. We are coming to you this week, as we do throughout the month, and I'm very excited about where we're going and who we're going with. So you'll hear that right after this fast break where sports meets life on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
Cafe Cabal offers same-day local delivery of our products, offering no delivery charge for Onondaga County. Shop cafecabal.com for fresh roasted coffee beans, cold brew, travel mugs, and all your essential Cafe Cabal needs. Cafe Cabal, coffee for the soul.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant.
Cafe Cabal Mobile Cafe brings the cafe experience to you. We'll roll out to your neighborhood or office, ready to serve our locally crafted espresso bar to our loyal patrons. Inquire at cafecabal.com. Cafe Cabal, coffee for the soul.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, located on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, is home to over 40 flavors with more than 200 flavors in their total wheelhouse. Sky's the limit for this sweet and savory Central New York company. Keep it local at your parties, fundraisers, wedding showers, baby showers, and more by calling 315-450-MA-PA. That's 315-450-6272 for popcorn bars with custom flavors and colors at your upcoming event. Make sure to visit them on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. And for more information, go to maandpazsnacks.com. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you? The Millhouse Market, located on 3790 New York 13 in Pulaski, New York, is worth the drive every time. Make your way out there, but make sure you download the app before you head out so you'll have the entire menu at your fingertips by going to the Apple app or Google Play Store and searching Millhouse Market. There you'll find their homemade breads, desserts, quinoa bowls, rice bowls, salads, as well as brick oven pizzas and all the sandwiches named after the families that helped to settle today's Pulaski. Ingrained in our community and ingrained in our taste buds, the Millhouse Market is the place to drive out to every Tuesday through Saturday from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. and on Sundays from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. to enjoy their restaurant inside, as well as on the weekends their bistro special menu in the restaurant, and of course their drive-through that you can grab your food and go right off the app or by calling, and of course their general store that offers local products from local companies. So many great reasons to head out there. I do it all the time, just did it a couple days ago, and I look forward to doing it again. Thank you to the Millhouse Market for being, simply put, worth the drive every time. With that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, I want to thank you for listening into the broadcast and watching the broadcast this morning where sports meets life. Two tremendous guests that we had here today in Rob Drummond and Syair Torrence. I want to give Syair a ton of love and appreciation once again for the opportunity of of a lifetime, the fact, and to be part of a hopeful, positive move toward the future when it comes to Syracuse recruiting locally. So very happy to see that Syracuse is working to recruit locally here. Hopefully Syair is not the only one. Hopefully it's the beginning of something great. So I love seeing it. It's something that Rob and I have talked about for a while, which was why it was perfect to have Rob lead in to Syair this morning to start off the week. Tomorrow we will be on site, on location at Cafe Kubal. We'll be at the podcasting headquarters on 208 North Townsend Street, right above the cafe. So come out to the cafe, get something to drink, get something to eat, and we'll be right above you broadcasting live on Facebook.com/LiveNowDT in the podcast headquarters in Kubal Co-works, right above Cafe Kubal on 208 North Townsend Street in Syracuse. And my special guest will be Jason Leone, the Oswego State Lakers men's basketball head coach. We have a great friendship and a lot of great things to talk about on and off the court. Jason will join me from the podcasting headquarters tomorrow on Tuesday, April 20th from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time, on site, on location at Cafe Kubal. We will see you there, and we'll have the ingredients to success, proudly brought to you by Avicoli's, and so much more tomorrow. In the meantime, God bless, no stress, do your best. We'll talk with you soon.